He hit the 80s, but he was still, when he got up there, he had that magic like nobody had. And you know, there were a few golfers that you could say maybe slightly better, a few, not many.
During his recent rally in Pennsylvania, the same rally that featured this political and intellectual powerhouse.
I know the media is going to call me crazy, me and Trump crazy for having me speaking here, but I want to make this clear. We are not. They are. Business will be booming going against Tim Watts, Tampon Tim Watts. It'd be really booming going against him. And to be real, we all have experienced highs and lows, especially me in my career as a Super Bowl champion and life as a father to 7 amazing children. I have experienced low points and have to overcome adversity. Just how I watched Donald Trump overcome adversity. No matter what the media threw at him, no matter what people say to try to bring him down, he continued to push forward and keep getting back up. And he's always ready for the fight. Fight, 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 fight. I love that.
Donald Trump got oddly personal when reflecting on the, shall we say, legacy of one of the all-time great golfers, the late Arnold Palmer, in his hometown, nonetheless.
But Arnold Palmer was all man, and I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable. I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here.
Yep, you heard that right. Who cares about raising the minimum wage, protecting workers from exploitative bosses like Donald Trump, providing healthcare rights to everyone in the country, improving our education system, stopping an ongoing G-side, expanding social safety nets and spending programs, investing in renewable energy, or another policy that would materially improve the lives of the average American when you can tell stories about a deceased athlete's genitalia while campaigning in the town he was born in. There is no better reflection of the current state of this party and where our entire political system is at this very moment. We are weeks away from the election, and this candidate has a genuine shot of winning in any other functioning country. This dude would be laughed off the stage and turned into the laughingstock that he should be viewed as. But far too many people have fallen down the right-wing rabbit hole. And sadly, because the Dems have been largely ineffective in offering tangible legislation to give hope to disaffected voters, it's become nearly impossible to pull these people back to reality.
Tonight's appearance and this speech that he is giving is the beginning of his closing argument to voters that he is going to deliver over the next couple weeks. And that closing argument began rather interestingly. He started with a long-winded story about Latrobe, Pennsylvania native Arnold Palmer, including, and I'm not making this up, a description of the Hall of Fame golfer in the men's room and the locker room and what he looked like in the shower. He then went into a more conversation about how his hair looked and his combing regimens.
Even CNN reporter Steve Contorno, who is more than familiar with Trump's rallies and speeches and various business schemes, well, Steve couldn't believe what he was hearing.
This to end a week where Mr. Trump called for the military to handle his domestic political opponents, said that infamous Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein got, quote, schlonged, called Kamala Harris a, quote, vice president, canceled scheduled interviews, continued to push lies about the 2020 election, including the notion that January 6th was a government-staged riot, also called January 6th, quote, a day of love, compared the January 6th defendants to Japanese Americans in internment camps during World War II, and at one rally decided to, instead of speak, dance and sway on stage for 39 minutes.
Ditto with CNN anchor Jake Tapper, who in a rare moment actually reported on the facts before running with a story. After all this went down, a 2018 quote from Arnold Palmer's daughter, Peg, resurfaced and gave some much-needed context to Trump's stunt, where she said, quote, my dad didn't like people who act like they're better than other people. He didn't like it when people were nasty and rude. He didn't like it when someone was disrespectful to someone else. My dad had no patience for people who demean other people in public. He had no patience for people who are dishonest and cheat. He was appalled by Trump's lack of civility and what he began to see as Trump's lack of character before sharing a personal story about the late Palmer's reaction to seeing Trump on television. Quote, Trump is talking, and my dad made a sound of disgust, like he couldn't believe the arrogance and crudeness of this man who was the nominee of the party he believed in. Arnold Palmer then said, he's not as smart as we thought he was, and walked out of the room. What would my dad think of Donald Trump today? I think he'd cringe. Yeah, of course he would. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? You know, the best way to honor someone's legacy is by the party who is, I'm not going to lie, quite literally obsessed with genitalia, going over that man's genitalia. And the funny thing is, to my memory, didn't he make the same sort of indirect remark without being as graphic about former Supreme Court Justice Scalia? Didn't he say something like that? And talking about how, like, oh, he just kept drilling those kids out. He must have been really good in bed or something like that. Like, we don't want to hear that. We don't need to hear that. You know what I'm interested in? Policy. I'm interested in plans. How are you going to make the country better? Well, you know, Arnold Palmer. It's another embarrassing moment on top of embarrassing moment on top of embarrassing moment where this man says that he's not declining, and yet we all know it because his ultimate form of projection is sharing the lie that he thinks he is saying out loud. So basically, he clears himself of any wrongdoing. Like, he has openly admitted, in my opinion, to things that he has done that are in the wrong and foul and flagrant by twisting the words of a sentence. And to go up there and do this is maddening. It's frustrating. It also takes away from what we really want as Americans. It's so frustrating. And obviously he's going to play up the golf angle because he loves golf. He thinks golfing is exercise, even though he rides in the cart. Even though he rides in the cart on greens, which is a cardinal sin when it comes to the sport that he says that he loves so much and has profited from so much as well. I'm almost at a loss for words because at this point, guys, what do you want me to say? Like, the man has so many screws loose. He already did prior to this, and it's so clear. It's so clear that at times when he freezes up or has moments like this, like, he's not there. Would you want this person to coach your kid's soccer team? No. So why would you want him running the country? If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.